Welcome back, everybody. Today's topic is the tragic injuries and deaths that happened at the Astroworld Festival in Houston over this past weekend, and whether the rapper Travis Scott might be held liable for some of these events, as some have speculated. First and foremost, let me express my most heartfelt condolences to the families of those who died and to those who were injured during these events. As always, if you're enjoying this content, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let's get started. So as you might have noted from my last couple of videos, I've been starting off with a lawyer joke nowadays. So do you know the difference between a bad attorney and a good attorney? Well, a bad attorney might take months or even years to resolve your case, but a good attorney knows how to drag it on for a lot longer than that. So here's your overview for your video today. First, we're going to give you a rough overview of what happened at the Astroworld Festival, kind of give you some factual background here if you haven't read about it in the news already. Second, we're going to recap some of the legal theories that have been thrown out in the press by law professors, commentators, etc. And third, we're going to talk about some of the strengths and weaknesses of those theories, some of the salient facts that may help or hurt Travis Scott in defending any potential lawsuit here. So let's get started. What happened? Travis Scott is a massively popular rapper from Houston. He has a baby with Kylie Jenner, etc. He was performing at the Astroworld Festival in Houston. This festival was actually founded by Travis Scott several years ago, of course named after Astroworld, the theme park in Houston that no longer exists, but which he visited many, many times as a child, had all kinds of fond memories, etc., etc. It was a multi-day festival, all kinds of different acts were supposed to perform, and the 2021 iteration of Astroworld was described as including a new creative theme called Open Your Eyes to a Whole New Universe, which would, quote, bring back the beloved spirit and nostalgia of the legendary and now defunct amusement park Astroworld that Scott visited countless times as a child. This is according to a press release from October. As the timer to Travis Scott's performance ticked down, the crowd, 50,000 people, something like that, rushed the stage, and people started being crushed where they couldn't breathe, had elbows on their neck, being trampled on, etc. But as far as I can tell, the performance did not stop for quite a while, even though medical staff had been removing people from the crowd who had been injured, this kind of thing. Eventually, Travis Scott paused the performance after noting that there was an ambulance in the crowd, and that's one of the video clips that's been circulating around online.
What the is that?
But the show was not actually stopped until the police intervened, saying that the resources had been overwhelmed and there were too many injuries. Finally, when the dust cleared, we had at least 8 people dead. 25 people had injuries that required hospitalization, of which about half of that remained hospitalized a couple of days later. And there were dozens of people with less severe injuries. Now, Travis Scott later tweeted his condolences to the families, his support of the police department, this kind of thing. But there are a couple of things that raise your eyebrow a little bit. One of the facts that has raised some eyebrows here is that when the tickets for Astroworld Festival went on sale and they sold out within less than an hour, it was tremendously popular, as I said. Travis Scott then went on Twitter to say we're still going to sneak in the wild ones and not to worry about the tickets having been sold out, where he appeared to condone people sneaking into the Astroworld Festival over capacity. Now, that tweet was subsequently deleted in a seeming damage control mode by Travis Scott. Now, is that sufficient evidence to lead to some kind of legal liability? We'll talk about that in just a second. So second, we're going to talk about some of the legal theories that might be able to hold Travis Scott liable for some of this. As one Houston attorney noted, the police report seems to suggest that Travis Scott played for over half an hour after a, quote, mass casualty event had been declared. And additionally, some of the social media accounts seem to suggest that he noticed or was aware of fans crying for help but continued to play. Again, all of this is alleged. This is not proved. This is opinions and comments that are floating around the internet. But if that's true, could that result in legal liability to Travis Scott. Another theory that presents a problem for Travis Scott here is that allegedly at many of his previous concerts, he's been in trouble to a lesser extent than this for unsafe conditions. On at least 2 occasions previously, Travis Scott has made plea deals or pled guilty or been arrested for some sort of disorderly conduct or criminal conduct related to one of his concerts. Most notably, in 2015 for the Chicago Lollapalooza concert, he was arrested after fans jumped a security barricade, and in February 2018, he pled guilty to a misdemeanor charge after he encouraged fans to rush the stage at a 2017 concert in Arkansas. Now, if something like that were proven here in the Houston Astroworld concert, this would obviously be a big deal because the damages are a whole lot more significant because 8 people died. That's a really big deal. So we'll take a brief detour here and talk about one of the elements of criminal law. You need 2 things in order for a crime to have taken place, in order to be convicted of a crime. You need an actus reus, meaning guilty act, and you need a mens rea, meaning guilty mind. You have to do the act and you have to intend to do the act. Our third area, what are the things that may help or hurt Travis Scott's case here? Well, most notably, if it can be shown that he did or did not notice fans who were injured or asking for help or that kind of thing, if that could be proved with any kind of specificity, that would be a really, really big deal for showing whether he was culpable or not, because for a criminal act, you have to not only do the act, but you have to intend to do the act. So if he knew that people were being injured, screaming for help, that kind of thing, and nonetheless continued the concert, well, that's one thing. But if, on the other hand, he thought that maybe they were screaming because they were very excited, or he didn't know that they necessarily were injured or needed help, he just thought that they were pumped up because it's an awesome rap show, well, that negates mens rea, meaning criminal mind or guilty mind, that you need for a criminal charge. Now, a really big deal has been made of this tweet and the deleted tweet and sneaking in the wild fans and et cetera, et cetera. I don't really foresee that being a big deal legally. In terms of PR, it's probably kind of a disaster, but legally, I don't think that really makes a whole lot of difference. In my opinion, it's going to come down to, were there unsafe conditions created at the show? Was it planned in a bad way? Were there too many people there? Did he encourage people to rush the stage? Did he ignore people crying for help? That kind of thing. And on the other hand, the thing about the tweet of letting the wild people in and sneaking people into the concert, that's probably bad PR, but I don't think that legally is going to make much of a difference. So thank you guys for tuning in. As always, if you enjoyed it, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and take care. We'll see you next time.